Yo, what is up, YouTube? Man, it's been a while. But I'll tell you what, we're excited to get back into videos on the YouTube channel. We're excited to get back to creating content. And man, I'm excited to get back into World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft. Thank you. So today, guys, I'm going to be going over my Unholy Death Knight build for Shadowlands. And I don't want to take too much time, so we're going to get right back into it. Okay, so for Unholy Death Knight, people are going to love you, man. You're going to be doing so much damage that all your friends are going to be extremely jealous. So let's jump into the build right now. Okay, so for your talents, guys, what I start with is I use Infected Claws. What that's going to do is your ghoul is going to have a 30% chance to apply Festering Wounds to an enemy. Now, if you tag that with your Dark Transformation, and they have the Cleave ability, that is so many Festering Wounds going out at once, you're going to love it, right? So that's what you want to do. But we'll get into a different build after this one. On your second row, I use Bursting Sores. Bursting a Festering Wound deals 25% more damage and deals 365 shadow damage to 8 nearby targets. So when you got a big pack, you're going to pop down your Dark Transformation. They're going to be clawing, popping out wounds, and you're going to be bursting them as fast as they can get them out there. Tons of DPS. It's going to be insane for you guys. On this third row, it's really whatever you want. On this third row, I go for this one right here, Asphyxiate. Use this, and it's like another interrupt, which is going to be fantastic. Lifts the enemy target off the ground, crushing their throat with dark energy and stunning for 4 seconds. You're practically Darth Vader out here, just doing the Lord's work. On this fifth row, again, it's really whatever you want to go for, but I don't think anything's better than Soul Reaper. Strike an enemy for 621 shadow damage and afflict the enemy with Soul Reaper. Now, this is going to be good just on a regular, but you might want to save it for when they get down to 35% health or less. After 5 seconds, if the target is below 35% health, this effect will explode, dealing an additional 2,937 shadow damage to the target. If the enemy that yields experience or honor dies while afflicted by Soul Reaper, gain Runic Corruption, which is just going to restock your runes ready to go for you. So when it explodes, it does tons of damage. So if you guys are hitting a pack right there and you notice the main one you're on is below 35%, pop that Soul Reaper up, boom, tons of extra damage, totally free, love it. Next row down here for when you're level 40. Again, really, it's up to you. I usually go with Death Pact. Just, give yourself a little bit extra cushion, help the healer out a little bit. Or I would suggest going with Wraith Walk because DKs don't have a lot of mobility, and this can get you out of some sticky situations and keep you moving. For the next one, there's only one. And that's the Unholy Pact you got with your ghoul. So the Dark Transformation creates an Unholy Pact between you and your pet, igniting flaming chains that deal 4,315 shadow damage over 15 seconds to enemies between you and your pet. While active, your strength is also increased by 5%, which is massive. Imagine how many people are going to be between you and your pet anyways, especially when you send them down there. A lot of gap right there. That chain's just going off, busting people up. You're down there swinging away, tons of damage. The extra 5% strength is huge. I tell you, it is huge. For this last one, guys, you have Army of the Damned and Unholy Assault. I wouldn't even mess with Summon Gargoyle. Just take it out completely. You don't need it. Army of the Damned is really good. Death Coil Epidemic will reduce the cooldown of Apocalypse by 1 second and Army of the Dead by 5. So if you're using a lot of Apocalypse, which we do, it'll be really good to get those cooldowns going so you can use it multiple times during the fight. But I personally like Unholy Assault. Adds 4 Festering Wounds to the target and 20% extra haste for 12 seconds. Tons of damage potential right there, and that's just what I love. For a legendary, I go with the Monstrosity one, which I would suggest probably most people will be using. Dark Transformation also increases the attack speed and damage of you and your Monstrosity by 12%. And you really have Dark Transformation up every single fight, multiple times a fight, so there's no reason not to run this one right here. The attack damage between you and your Monstrosity, it's too good to just not have, right? Now, as a Death Knight, we get those runes on the weapons. Everybody loves them. there's only one rune you want to put on your weapon. That's Fallen Crusader. It's been there since the beginning. Everybody loves it. It's a crowd favorite. Engrave your weapon with a rune that has a chance to heal you for 6% of your maximum health and increase total strength by 15% for 15 seconds. Do I need to say more? It's a beast. You want to have it. End of story. Let's keep moving. Alright guys, for a good rotation is what I always start with is Outbreak. So when you have Outbreak, you know, you're going to start, the tank's going to go away and you're going to pull the pack, you're going to hit them with Outbreak. Everybody's going to get the disease. Now they're all sick and they're wondering why, who invited the Unholy Death Knight to do this to us, right? So you pop that up, and then I always hit Dark Transformation second. Once that happens, your Dark Transformation is going to run in there. He's going to start cleaving, and since he's cleaving, Infected Claws, your Ghoul Claw attacks has 30% chance to cause a festering wound on the target. So now you got a mob 5 or 6. You got the, you know, they're hit with the plague, which is great. You got the fire chains going off, which is more dots, more damage, and now your guy is clawing and cleaving and hitting these guys. 30% chance to get a festering wound. That's going to be big for us, right? So once that happens, I jump in behind him, and I pick 2 targets to go after. My first target, I hit with a Festering Strike real quick, and then I hurry and tab over to another target, Festering Strike as well. By that time, you're usually waiting for a couple runes to come back, but you have some runic power to burn. So I burn my runic power on Epidemic, and I'll get a couple runes back quickly. I will then drop Death and Decay, which is going to be massive. While you are standing in Death and Decay, your Scourge Strike will hit 4 additional enemies. And that's big, and I'll tell you why. Because your ghoul has been cleaving and infecting everybody else with those festering wounds, now those things are popping like crazy. You hit 1, you're hitting another 4. Let's say all 5 now have a festering wound on them. With Bursting Sores, the festering wound deals another 25% damage and deals 365 shadow damage to 8 nearby targets. We're all standing Death and Decay. You're just Scourge Striking away, popping those like crazy. You will be topping the damage charts every single time. You're going to be a crowd favorite, and that's really what we want, right? So you jump in, you hit Outbreak, Dark Transformation, put some Festering Strikes on some people. You know, you want to tab between them, so you got to set up your DPS. So you set it up, drop Death and Decay, and you just go in on them. And if you want to put the cherry on top, that's just a base rotation. You want to put the cherry on top, you build up 4 festering wounds on one guy before you start going ham, pop your Apocalypse, get those 4 extra ghouls to come out because now you have 4 wounds on somebody. I know what you're saying. Tony, you need to build those festering wounds. What are you doing, man? Let me tell you. Unholy Assault. Put that, after you pop Apocalypse, put that bad bitch on there, another 4 festering wounds on the same target. Now you're like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing, right? You have those extra 4, and now you're just swinging away. Popping wounds, things are going crazy. Your damage, up the charts. You're going to love it. And that's pretty much your base area for your rotation. Now, what you can do is you can switch up a couple of these. You can get rid of Unholy Assault, go for Army of the Damned, and pop your Apocalypse a little bit more. You know, you could even take Bursting Souls away and go for Unholy Blight, which you'll surround yourself with a vile swarm of insects for 6 seconds, stinging all nearby enemies and inflicting them with Virulent Plague, an unholy disease that deals 581 damage over 14 seconds, stacking up 4 times. And your minions deal 3% increased damage per stack. I find that a little bit better in a raid situation than a mythic situation, as, you know, more boss fight, you know, you'll be stuck on the boss a lot longer. I think that's better damage for the boss than you would a regular mythic, you know, pulls and stuff like that. The one thing that I am struggling with, not so much struggling with, but I guess playing with the idea, is dropping Infected Claws, putting on Clawing Shadows, deals 108 shadow damage and causes 1 festering wound to burst, right? So you're still going to burst the wound, but you get just strictly shadow damage. And since Mastery is so strong for Unholy Death Knights, if it's straight shadow damage, you're just boosting your shadow damage because your Mastery is so high, right? And then you'll be boosting the wounds as well. So that's something to think about. I've also thought about, if I go with the Clawing Shadows, getting rid of Soul Reaper, and picking up Pestilent Pusteles. That's how you say it? I'm not sure. Bursting a Festering Wound has a 10% chance to grant you Runic Corruption. So if you get rid of Infected Claws for Clawing Shadows, you're no longer getting those extra wounds from your ghoul, right? You're no longer get that cleave ability that's going to pop all those down. What if you go single target-ish? Kind of go back and forth. You're going to be doing more damage with your strikes because of Clawing Shadows, because it does replace Scourge Strike. That's your main attack. So you'll be doing more damage that way, but then you're going to probably start running out of runes because you notice you have to apply Festering Strike a lot more now that your ghoul can't apply it for you. But if you pick up Pestilence Pustelis, you might be able to get that Runic Corruption a little bit faster and be able to get those runes back. So I'm going to be playing with the idea of going that way and seeing how much damage on the charts I can keep up with. But if you guys follow that rotation and what you want to do and keep up the damage, there's no reason why you won't be topping charts. Everybody's going to love you. There's not going to be one mythic array that you put in for that someone doesn't want you, because you're going to be there and you're going to be just blowing loads over everybody. It's going to be fantastic. With that, guys, I will see you later on the next YouTube video.